What is up, guys? Randomonium here. We're going to be doing RNG versus TSM. This is the final match of Group D, and this one is really going to be for all the marbles because TSM is 3-2 and RNG is 2-3. So if TSM wins, they'll be at 4-2, and they will get the second place spot. And then if RNG wins, then both teams will be 3-3, but RNG will win the head-to-head matchup because will have won both of their matches against TSM, and therefore RNG will be the one who advances. So this is a must-win for both teams. Pretty much winner takes all. Samsung Galaxy played really well this entire day, and they are going to be guaranteed the first place spot. So now RNG and TSM are trying to figure out who's going to be second place. So the bans for RNG are going to be Lee Sin, Jin, and Karma. That makes perfect sense. You want to get Svenskeren off of Lee Sin since he's been playing so well. Double Lift has been really favoring the Jin pick, so it makes sense to ban that. The Karma, I think it's a little bit of a miss-hit because I don't think that they would put Biofrost on Karma just because he's kind of struggled in the past. Over on the TSM side, they banned the Nidalee, the Syndra, and the Caitlyn. That makes sense. I know that Bjergsen's very good on Syndra, but Syndra is first pick priority, so I think they're a little bit worried about giving the Syndra over to RNG, so they ban it away. First pick for RNG is the Aurelion Sol, which is kind of weird. He hasn't been picked that often, but I guess they have some type of team comp planned that revolves around the Aurelion Sol, so they pick it up first pick. I'm curious to see how the rest of their team comp goes with that. TSM goes for the Jace and the Braum. I really like the Jace pickup. I feel like Biofrost is fantastic on Braum. And then the Jace gives a little bit of flexibility to the team comp. But I don't know. I don't know if you necessarily need to pick that in the first rotation necessarily. So, because now they can like counter pick you pretty easily. So I don't really think that they needed to pick that early. Next rotation is going to be the Elise and the Ezreal. I like the Ezreal pickup. I like the Elise pickup for RNG. It makes sense. Looks like they're drafting kind of more of a longer range comp right now. And TSM decides to pick up the Rek'Sai and the Ryze. I love both of these picks. Ryze has just been very dominant in this tournament on people who know how to play him, and Rek'Sai is a fantastic champion. It looks like they're having a little bit of a problem, but Svenskeren has been very good on Rek'Sai, so I think that this won't be an issue for TSM. I'm a little bit worried about the Jace pick. I think that was a mistake, showing the Jace that early in the draft. I think you want to save the Jace for a counter pick. Save the top lane for a counter pick rather than show it off too soon. So last two pickups for RNG are the Poppy and the Nami. That's an odd pickup because Jace should be able to bully the Poppy around. The Nami is pretty decent for into the Braum lane. And it looks like Double Lift is going for the Lucian as TSM's last pick. I'm confused as to why TSM picked up the Jace so early in the draft and why they were last picking their 80 carry of all positions. That just seemed very odd. So yeah, not so sure. I like the Lucian Braum lane is fantastic. That's like one of my favorite lanes to have when I'm playing in ranked. And I think the Ryze is great. I think the Rek'Sai is great. I think they might have missed something going for the Jace. I feel like there were definitely a lot better picks they could have gone for, especially if they counterpicked their top lane. So we'll see what happens. TSM just needs to I feel like TSM's team fighting is going to win them the game. They just need to make sure that they don't fall for some early cheese from Aurelion Sol or from the Elise, like a level 2 gank or a level 1 gank. Uzi's got a very good Ezreal too, so they got to be careful that he just doesn't go off this game. As far as the lane matchups are concerned, Jace should win the Jace versus Poppy matchup. Ryze should be able to actually match the push of the Aurelion Soul, just because of the way his spell flux works, especially once he gets a couple levels and gets his first mana item. And then bot lane, Nami has definitely an advantage in the earlier levels against the Braum, but the all-in potential of the Lucian Braum lane is completely huge. It's really underestimated. Like if Rek'Sai shows bot lane, it's pretty much a guaranteed kill as long as they set it up properly. I'm actually going to turn down the volume a little bit because I'm finding it a little bit distracting. So this is what I would expect with the range support, is that bot lane would get pushed in pretty early. This is actually really smart by the Elise because they know that the Ryze wants to get the blue buff, so now they're contesting it. Yeah, this is actually really great from RNG with their jungle. They're forcing the Rek'Sai out. They're stealing his jungle early, and TSM really isn't have a response for this early. So Svenskaren's getting pushed off of 2 of his jungle camps on his first clear, and they know that that Svenskeren isn't going to go bot lane. So you can see that Aurelion Sol, he wards up the top side of the map, so that pretty much cuts off any type of gank pathing that Rek'Sai wants to go for along the top side of the map. So Aurelion Sol is completely safe now for the next minute or so. And you can see they spot out the Rek'Sai, so they immediately are going for bot lane again. This is actually very smart by TSM. They know that a dive is most likely happening. And yeah, this is very smart by TSM too. Yet Svenskeren, he's invading the other side of the jungle, so he's getting those jungle camps back. And this is exactly what you want to see, is that when one team tries to make a play on one side of the map, you try and go for an opposite play on the other side of the map. So you can see that RNG goes for play bot side, TSM goes for play top side, and you at least try to trade plays if you're not in a position to contest the play. I feel like TSM, this lane should start pushing in the advantage of TSM now. Now that they've got a couple levels, but they just have to be very careful of the Elise roaming around. So the Rek'Sai spotted out the Elise there. This is really bad. This is really bad. I don't know why they were moving up in that direction. I don't know why Double Lift and Biofrost were moving up in that direction at all. That made no sense whatsoever. Your Ryze was forced under his tower. Svenskeren was not in position. They were trying to clear a ward. That was such a... Oh my god. That's the type of play that freaking tilts you right there. Like, there was no reason to even try to contest that ward. You're not in a position to contest the ward. So you give up 3 kills because of a freaking ward? Like, okay, TSM needs to regroup. They need to get their heads in the game because that was like a That was a really bad play. That's something that I would expect, somebody in one of my solo queue games to make. That's not something that I would expect a LCS level player to make. Yeah, so this is wow. RNG is doing a great job. Look at that vision. Look at the vision that they're setting up around the blue side of TSM's jungle. And that's going to start to starve out Svenskeren unless he can actually start putting some pressure along the top side of the map. Yeah, so this is not a good position to be in if you're TSM. And Looper knows that they have to make a play along the top side of the map. So you can see he's playing really safe. He's got coverage from Aurelion Sol. And they're just not giving TSM an opening to try and get a counterplay. Yeah, so Doublelift is just going to be stuck under his tower for a really long time. Like, actually, if TSM, one play that they could do is they could, if they get a chance to push out the lane a little bit, they can back and they can go top lane. And that might be able to help them a little bit. Another mistake from Svenskeren. So multiple mistakes. RNG's punishing them. I don't know why Doublelift is backing right now. Like, he should be trying to put some pressure on that tower. So multiple times TSM is RNG's making a play. TSM is not putting any pressure on the opposite side of the map. Like, anytime a team makes a play, that costs resources, right? That costs time. That costs spells, mana, health, abilities, summoner, cooldowns, things like that. You have to be making other plays on the other parts of the map, or the enemy team is just going to keep making plays over and over again, and you're just going to fall further behind, right? It's better to make a bad decision than no decision in these type of situations where you have to go for a play. You don't just want to play passive, because these teams are good enough where they're not going to throw. Like, in solo queue, you can play passive sometimes if you're behind, and you can just basically just wait for the enemy team to throw. But these are the best teams in the world. They're not going to gift you the game. They're not going to wrap it up in a bow and just give it to you. You got to take it from them. Yeah, that could have been really bad for TSM if Biofrost didn't use his shield on that Nami ult. So TSM has done a decent job kind of slowing the bleeding. They've only dropped the one tower, and that's really the only reason why they're still in the game. If another tower or two falls, if they lose their multiple outer turrets or even an inner turret, the game's pretty much over at that point. So RNG is going for Drake. So TSM's response is as soon as they hear the dragon go off, hard push top lane. Hard push top lane. I don't understand why double lift is walking down here. Hard push top lane. Try to take an objective. Like, there's nothing for you down here. There's nothing for you mid lane. They're gonna push mid lane. They're gonna get the tower. The tower's at like 100 health. And now double lift ran down to mid lane, did nothing, then ran back up to top lane, and now is pushing. He just wasted 40 seconds at least. He could have had that tower. But because he went mid lane and then went back up to top lane, he wasted all that time for nothing. That's frustrating. Like I don't understand the shot calling that's happening from TSM right now. Yeah, I'm tilted right now. I'm a bit frustrated with how TSM's playing. I mean, TSM is. They're not falling further behind, but they're not making any plays to catch back up again, right? One of the best things that you see about some of these top tier teams, including TSM, is when you fall behind, you have to make a play. You make a play, you do something to get yourself back in the game. Finally, we're getting that tower. That's like 3 minutes after when we should have gotten that tower if we're TSM. And now, look at this. Now they're going to try and set up a dive in top lane. So this I actually might be able to contest. Uh, I think it's good that they're putting the Jason bot lane right now. They need to start clearing out the vision out of their own jungle. We've got multiple pink wards in their inventories, but they're not really using them to clear any vision. They stacked up too much. You don't stack up against a Poppy like that, otherwise you're all going to get hit. So TSM's not going to be able to contest this dragon. So instead, they should be looking to try and trade damage on a tower. So they're going for dragon right now. And what are we doing? What are we doing as TSM? Nothing. So, had a window, didn't do anything with it yet again. It's fine to give up a dragon. This is true even in solo queue. It's fine to give up a dragon. A lot of people will disagree with me on this, but it's fine to give up a dragon if you have a reason to give up that dragon. Like, my team's not near as strong as the other team, and I can't fight this team right now. So instead of fighting in the Dragon Pit and getting aced, or losing 3 of my teammates, I'm going to get a different objective, or I'm going to get damage on mid tower, I'm going to get vision around Baron, or something like that. That's worth giving up the Dragon for. Good play there. 3 for 3. That's probably as good as you could expect it to be for TSM. I don't know why. I think Hunter was just a little bit too greedy with that. Stepped forward a little bit too soon. So yeah, those fights are fine. I mean, like if you trade for 3 for 3 and you're behind, then that's a win for you because the more gold both teams get, the less that gold differential means. You can see like TSM to this, even right now, they're only down 1,000 gold. The problem is that they're giving up neutral objectives. They're giving up vision control, things like that. They're always behind on the play. See, this is good. This is fine. Not a problem. I don't think that they would go for Baron. This is smart. Push up mid. Here's the tidal wave. This is fine. Just delay. Just stall. Use the Rek'Sai Tremor Sense. Okay, that was a bit of a misplay. That was a huge misplay now. Yeah, that might be the game right there. That mistake was huge. So it was fine that they were, pushing bot lane with the Jace and things like that. But if you don't have vision, one of the most important things with Rek'Sai is his ability to do the Tremor Sense, right? And they weren't in a position to do that at all. They didn't use Tremor Sense. They weren't using his Praise Seeker to figure out where the enemy team was, and they just gifted them a free Baron. And then after the enemy team got Baron, then they'd start walking towards them, and then they wind up giving up a couple kills. That's like the worst case scenario. Like if an enemy team gets Baron for free, that's bad enough, but you don't want to just walk right into them after they get Baron and just give over a couple more kills on top of that. That's how you lose games very easily. So TSM really kind of shot themselves in the foot there. They were only 1,000 gold behind, and now they're like 4,000 gold behind, and they're probably going to lose multiple towers as well, and they'll probably go down to about 6,000 gold, and then that becomes incredibly difficult to come back from. Yep, almost 6,000 gold already that they're down. They're doing a really good job protecting Uzi right now. This is very odd. Yeah, that was a very, very odd decision to go for the Drake there. At this point in the game, All you can really do is turtle up pretty heavily. Wait for the enemy team to go for a Baron or an Elder Dragon, and hope that you can catch them. Steal the Baron or steal the Elder Drake, and then get a couple kills on top of that. And even that will not put you back to even. You'll probably have to do that 2 times before you can actually uh, contest objectives. That was good. Wow, that was fantastic. However, they pulled the trigger at a time when they really can't get anything off of it. Okay, that brings the game back pretty close. It's only about 3,000 gold now. They really need to prioritize Baron Vision right now. They're not prioritizing it at all. They're not clearing out the wards, and that was a huge opportunity for them to actually get Baron control. That's huge. That's game. Double lift just went down. That'll be Baron, and that'll be at least one more inhib, and that's probably going to be the game, unless TSM has some type of miracle team fight. All right, so RNG will run, probably push up mid, and then rotate top and have one person pushing bot lane. Double if has to use Ghost Blade to get out. Since Garen's getting chunked out again, it's so weird that he's like getting chunked out so easily. Yep, it's game. That's really frustrating because TSM completely could have won that game, and yeah, that was very frustrating. TSM really just kind of threw. You know, they weren't that far behind, and then they played passive. They were not being efficient with their time or their gold at all, and then they just, if you don't do anything, the enemy team is going to take it from you. At this level, at the pro level, at the world's level, if you don't do something proactive, if you don't take the game away from your enemy, they will take it from you. And that's exactly what RNG did, because TSM wasn't making any plays around the map. They just played passive and let RNG just do whatever the hell they want, and they didn't go for any counter plays. They didn't set up anything. So that was very odd, very strange. I don't understand why TSM was playing the way they were, and I didn't understand a lot of their pick ban phase strategy. So just a very weird game overall, very frustrating game. I'm sure TSM is very frustrated too. But yep, that's the end of TSM season. So now the only team left for NA is Cloud9. So we'll have to figure out what's going to happen with Group B if they can pull it out and keep NA dreams alive. But I hope you guys all enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you like the content on the channel, please subscribe. And if you want me to review other videos, just let me know. Leave a comment. Let me know what videos you want me to review, and I'll be happy to do that. But I hope you all have a great day. This is Ranmonium signing off.